In our last time together, we considered the 7 key questions James Sire suggested we ask of any worldview, especially of the one we wish to follow. Those questions were: what is prime reality, the really real? What is the nature of external reality, that is, the world around us? What is a human being? What happens to a person at death? Why is it possible to know anything at all? How do we know what is right and wrong? And what is the meaning of human history? We gave a brief response to these questions from the view of atheistic materialism. In our time together now, let's examine what some have called the new spirituality and postmodernism. The worldview of new spirituality, or the New Age as some call it, tends to focus on self, seeking ways to improve one's self and live in harmony with the world around a person. Some have seen this worldview as a blending of Eastern religions. If we were to ask Sire's questions of this worldview, the answers might be that prime reality is that everything is God. Human beings and the physical world all share the same essence or stuff of reality. God is an impersonal force or energy. Since all is God and all is one, then all is well. Some who follow this worldview believe the material world around us is unreal, it's a fantasy, although other adherents to this worldview tend to put more value on the physical world than do some of the Eastern religions. Since we are one with God, our unity with reality is emphasized. Individual personality is downplayed. Meaning in life comes through a oneness with the Divine Spirit. I believe tends to become I feel, because there is a distrust of reason, since truth is found only by looking within one's self. Sin is merely ignorance of the true nature of reality. A person does not need repentance, they need enlightenment. Another aspect of this is found in the phrase, "If it feels good, do it." Death is only a step in the continuous cycle of rebirth or reincarnation, where a person's new life is either rewarded or punished because of their behavior in their current or past life. Not only in death, but in life, karma brings good or bad to a person based upon their behavior. History, then, has little meaning, since life is nothing more than a continuous cycle. Some of the conclusions reached through the worldview of new spirituality that affect people and their behaviors might include that since we all share divine nature, there is really no one God we worship or to whom we are accountable. Since we are God, we are only accountable to ourselves and living in harmony with everyone and everything around us. It also implies that meaning in life comes from becoming one with everyone and everything. Thus, the division and anger our world seems to be experiencing is simply because we are not or cannot seem to live in harmony. However, what that standard of harmony should be is not explained. We are simply to find it within ourselves. Postmodernism is the term used by sociologists to describe the shift away from modernism. Modernism is the belief that everything can be explained objectively through the scientific method, which bases knowledge on empirical, objective evidence. Thus, postmodernism is the belief that there is no such thing as objectivity. Because of that, postmodernism does not really give itself to answering Sire's questions. Instead, postmodernism concludes that even if God existed, He, she, or it has nothing to say about what a person should believe or how they should act, and therefore is ignored. Each person creates their own reality. There is no absolute truth. It is true only if you believe it is true. Emotions, feelings, intuition, reflection, magic, myth, and mystical experience are the criteria. I know is replaced by I feel. This invariably goes against all laws of logic, since not everything can be true. This relativism is carried over into religion. Rather than dismissing religion as modernism did, religion is a cafeteria. You may choose to believe whatever you want to believe. And morality is also relative. The question is not what is right, but what will this do for me? Tolerance is a key pillar of postmodernism. The only thing that tolerance is not extended to are those who believe that truth is important and absolute. To believe that there is an objective truth means that some people may be wrong. The emphasis of postmodernism is individualism. History, then, is rewritten because what really happened is either unknowable or unimportant. This worldview has a tremendous impact on how people think and act. Since there is no absolute truth, there is no standard for judging rightness or wrongness. Everything is equally valid, true, and right. The only standard becomes the individual as far as what they determine to believe or do. The standard of morality and truth in a community becomes what the majority decide upon, and wrongness is determined by a person's unwillingness to consent to the majority's decision. The consequences of this worldview are often chaos, anger, and division, because as Judges 17 verse 6 says, every man did what was right in his own eyes. Although every person is an individual, without some sort of standard of law and morality, humanity is nothing more than a group of people where only the strong have power and survive, with no consideration for the other people around them. Surely there is a worldview that gives meaning and hope to life without destroying the individuality of each human being. There is. And in our next time together, we will look at it. May God continue to give you wisdom and discernment as you consider the foundations upon which you live.